Imagine standing at a bustling intersection in Tokyo, New York, or London. Around you, the roar of traffic, the glare of neon lights, and millions of people rushing by. Everything looks permanent, completely solid, safe. But right now, at this very moment, just 30 meters beneath your feet, a multi-thousand-ton mechanical monster is silently crushing ancient bedrock. It is called the Tunnel Boring Machine, the TBM, a Titanic shield. It is powerful enough to chew through an entire limestone mountain, clearing the way for modern subway lines and hidden infrastructure. Yet, to chief engineers and urban planners, this marvel of modern technology is the source of their absolute worst nightmares. Why does a symbol of peak human engineering strike fear into the hearts of megacities? Because beneath that thin layer of asphalt lies a chaotic world completely out of our control. Central, this is Sector 4. Water pressure at the cutter head is spiking out of control. We are losing the face pressure stability. Shut it down. Shut it down now. In 1994, in Munich, Germany, a giant shield machine was grinding its way beneath a major metropolitan street. Everything was running smoothly, until the massive cutting wheel struck an undetected pocket of high-pressure groundwater. Within seconds, thousands of cubic meters of liquid silt rushed into the excavation chamber. Above ground, the concrete began to groan. Then, a sudden, terrifying collapse. A city bus filled with passengers was swallowed whole into a massive sinkhole that opened instantly in the middle of the road. This was not an isolated incident. From Shanghai and the massive Alaskan Way viaduct in Seattle to the subway lines of Sao Paulo, every time these underground titans move, the city above holds its breath. We are hollowing out the very foundations we stand on. And the price of a single mistake is the catastrophic collapse of an entire urban district. To understand the fear, you must first understand the sheer scale of the beast. A modern tunnel boring machine is not just a drill. It is a self-contained, moving subterranean factory. Some of these machines stand over 5 stories tall and stretch longer than a football field. At the very front is the cutter head, a massive, rotating steel wheel studded with tungsten carbide discs. As it spins, it presses against the earth with millions of pounds of force, scraping, crushing, and pulverizing everything in its path. Behind this shield, a mechanical erector arm works non-stop, placing heavy, interlocking concrete segments to build the permanent tunnel walls. It digs, it clears the debris, and it builds the tunnel all at the exact same time. It seems flawless, an automated triumph. But the machine has a fatal flaw. It cannot look back, and it cannot easily turn around. Once a TBM enters the Earth, it is committed to a one-way journey through the unknown. And the deeper it goes, the more the Earth fights back. The first great enemy of the machine is water. Deep underground, water is not a peaceful stream. It is a highly pressurized weapon trapped inside the rock. If a TBM punctures a major aquifer without the proper counterpressure, the results are explosive. We have a massive breach in the primary seal. The slurry pumps cannot handle this volume. The water is coming in too fast. We are flooding. When water forces its way into the machine, it washes away the soil surrounding the shield. This creates an empty void directly beneath the city streets. Without the support of that soil, the immense weight of skyscrapers, utility lines, and highways above causes the ground to suddenly give way. The city literally caves in on itself. But water is not the only hazard. The second enemy is the sheer unpredictability of the ground. A city's underground is a messy geological puzzle. One week the machine is cutting through soft clay, and the next it hits solid granite. This transition zone is where catastrophes happen. If the machine exerts too much pressure, it pushes the ground upward, buckling roads and cracking the foundations of historic buildings. If it exerts too little pressure, the earth collapses into the cutter head, causing massive sinkholes on the surface. Engineers are playing a delicate, multi-million-dollar game of balance, where a miscalculation of just a few millimeters can destroy a billion-dollar neighborhood. Consider the infamous case of Bertha, the world's largest TBM at the time, digging beneath Seattle. In late 2013, the giant machine suddenly groaned, overheated, and ground to a violent halt deep beneath the city. The massive main bearing was severely damaged. Bertha was completely paralyzed, trapped 60 feet below a dense urban waterfront. We are completely locked up. The temperature is off the charts. Bertha isn't moving an inch. We are stuck. The project was thrown into chaos for 2 straight years. To fix her, engineers had to dig a massive, high-risk rescue pit from the surface directly down to the machine's face, destabilizing the surrounding ground and threatening nearby historic structures. It cost hundreds of millions of dollars in overruns, proving that when these machines fail, they freeze entire cities in a state of financial and structural panic. And then, there is the nightmare of the unexploded past. Beneath older cities like London, Berlin, or Tokyo, the Earth hides dark secrets. Centuries of old foundations, forgotten wooden pilings, abandoned water mains, and worse, unexploded ordnance from World War II. If a spinning cutterhead strikes a 1,000-pound bomb buried 30 meters deep, the disaster is unthinkable. The machine would be instantly destroyed, and the shockwave would shatter the subway infrastructure above. Every single meter gained is a victory against an invisible obstacle course. Temperatures are rising on the main bearing. We have metal-on-metal friction. The cutterhead is locked up. Someone has to go out there. When the cutting discs dull or break against the brutal rock, the machine stops. But you cannot just lift a 5-story machine out of the ground to fix it. Instead, human divers must step into the hyperbaric chamber at the very front of the machine. They enter a tiny, cramped space directly behind the muddy cutterhead, working under extreme atmospheric pressure to manually replace the massive steel teeth. It is one of the most dangerous jobs on Earth. The pressure in here is suffocating. I can barely breathe. The mud is shifting above us. Hand me that torch, quick! If the Earth shifts or the pressure seals fail, while they are outside the shield, they will be crushed or drowned instantly in pitch-black darkness. They are fighting for their lives in a claustrophobic tomb. Also, a city above can have a faster commute. Despite the terrifying risks, humanity cannot stop digging. Our cities are growing at an astronomical pace, and the only direction left to expand is down. We need deeper subways, larger sewer systems, and massive underground highways to keep our civilizations moving. The tunnel boring machine remains an absolute necessity, a terrifying, beautiful marvel of human ambition. Every time you ride a smooth, quiet underground train, remember the silent war that was fought to clear that path. Remember the Titanic steel shields that braved the crushing weight of the Earth, the explosive pressures of hidden waters, and the constant threat of total collapse. We have conquered the skies, and we are reaching for the stars. But our greatest, most terrifying battles are still being fought in the pitch-black silence directly beneath our feet.